So hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Hopefully this should be a good video. I've got a few aims today. First one is to hopefully get some underwater takes on the soft plastic baits that I'm using today, just to see how the perch react to them underwater and see exactly how they take them underwater too. That's aim one, and my aim number two is to hopefully share some tips and tricks with you on catching some of the bigger perch in your local canals, and fingers crossed I might put a few on the bank today myself as well. So the baits I'm using, I'm going a little bit lazy today. I've got some pre-rigged, brand spanking new pre-rigged baits from Fox Rage, which are some of the micro bait series. So we've got things like the grub tail, the tiddler, micro fry and spiky shad. So fingers crossed we'll get some cool takes underwater, hopefully get some big fish. I'll share a few tips and tricks along the way. Let's crack on, get some fish on the bank. Oosh. Couple of decent perch down there. Yep, did take it. Got it, we got it. That's a decent sized perch. Just turned the big camera off, was about to move from this area because I didn't think there was anything decent down here. And hey presto, that's normally when the fish turn up. There we go. Well, he's not exactly a Goliath grouper of a perch, but he's definitely a decent one for the canal. He's got a stubbed tail. He would be a bit longer if he had more of a tail on him, but he's probably would have been a 35 in his prime. And he absolutely choked it. Look at that. Perfect. It's on a little spiky shad, that one. There we go. Beautiful fish. I'm not showing him to the big camera, we'll just let him go. Make sure his fins out his gills. Oh, and that one's in there as well. Don't know why he's always managed to do that. But yeah, he's not the prettiest perch in the world, but still decent size one. We'll get him dropped back to down here. Definitely a good size fish. There we go, there's a fish. There's a fish. Wow. Beautiful perch, probably about, what, maybe 4 ounce? Getting on 4 ounce? Awesome. See you later, buddy. There we go. Lovely little perch, and he choked it, look at that. Slightly different baits than one of those longer baits. Longer, more streamlined, look a bit more like a little minnow or a little roach fry. There we go. Oh, lovely fish. Oh, no. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there. Let's put him in the net. I just love him so much. You can just imagine him being great big mummers in the future. Perfect doubles, aren't they, of the adults. Let's let this little guy go. He actually managed to buy me as well. Fair play to you, little guy. Look at that. Even at that size, they're absolutely savage. Awesome. Got it, we got it. Right, so I've done a bit of tiddler bashing so far. I've had some fish up to about 6 ounce. The aim of today was always to get some slightly bigger fish and to target some slightly bigger fish. But now it's time to target some real nice canal sergeants. Some of the bigger fish that are quite elusive and actually quite difficult to catch. So I'm having a bit of a break now, changing my baits, because look at what happened to a couple of my baits. Jack pike actually got hold of a couple of my baits I've been using today. Ouch, I got it stuck in my finger. Very, very sharp hooks on them, jeez. So what I'm going to do now is I actually have a little plan of action and a very specific method that I use when it comes to actually catching these bigger fish from the canal, because they can be really, really tricky. One of the main things you need is the polarized glasses, which I would have mentioned earlier. When your canal is clear anyway, if you've got a really clear body of water, you have to have some polarized glasses. They will really help you out. And like I say, I've got a neat little trick which will actually really, really help you when it comes to catching some of those bigger canal perch. So without further ado, I'm going to have a break, have a bit of snap, and then we'll get on with catching some big perch. Now, I'm in a particular section of canal which I know generally holds some larger fish, if you can find them. I'm going to tell you the little trick that I use now, which is really, really valuable when it comes to getting some of these bigger fish. I'll just talk you through it very, very quickly, then we'll catch one or two of them hopefully. So you cast your jig out, and what we're going to do is use our polarized glasses to spot these fish out. So let's say we've spotted 3 or 4 big perch out there. What we'll then do is cast the jig out close to the fish and drag the bait into the nearest bit of weed, leaf foliage, any kind of matter that's on the bottom that's close to these fish. And then what you want to do is very, very gently, and I'm not talking about hopping this bait particularly, but very, very gently just wriggle that bait on the bottom, just making the tail judder slightly, just as it's in the weed or in the leaf matter. And these perch can't help themselves but come over and investigate. Sometimes these fish won't react to a fish coming past them, jigging a bait past them or hopping it past them. But if that bait is just vibrating on the bottom, just tucked into the weed or behind a leaf, it's almost like they've seen a bait fish or an invertebrate that's got its head down, is not looking, and the perch going for the kill. And it does work more often than not actually, especially when you find a shoal of 3 or 4 and you have a little bit of competition between them. You do tend to get a bite then, and it can really be a killer tactic to picking out fish that generally will seem like they're not feeding, and it always tend to be the bigger fish that are like this too. So I'm going to move on now, keep my eyes peeled because there could be a big fish anywhere around here. There we go. That's a much better perch. Hell yeah. Left me net in my last swim, so that's great. Beautiful fish. tried to hand line him and he come off. That was a fish of, it was a high 30 centimetre and probably about £1.25 pounds or £1.5 pounds. Oh, I feel like an idiot. My net is just a bit further up the bank where my bike is. There we go, there's another one. I lost it. Ah, my net is just a bit further up the bank where I've left my bike, and I was going to walk and grab it, and I thought, no, it's all right. I'll just pick it up out of the water. A little bait, and he just dropped back. I tried to get my hand under him. He thrashed around. I managed to get hung up on a bit of a snag in the margin, and he come off. And I'm good because that could have been the biggest one of this session. Spotted a nice, well, decent perch swimming past. There it comes. It's twitching it in the weed. Oh, bigger fish turned up. Got it, we got it. Yep, that's decent perch. Just twitching it right in the weed. That is the trick for them bigger fish. It's a beautiful perch, probably over £1 pound anyway. Absolutely crushed it. I think there's another one chasing it in now. That's really interesting. It's really cool to see when another perch chases your bigger one. Awesome. Look at that beautiful perch. And the little spiky shed. It's very well hooked. We'll get the hook out in a minute. I'll hold him down in the water. I'll run back and get my net, rest him in the water, and take a look at him. But that is a beautiful fish. Probably a 35, maybe pushing 36 centimetre. Just look at that. Absolutely nailed it. There we have it. Absolutely beautiful canal sergeant. I've not given it a measure, but I'll measure it in a sec. It's an absolutely beautiful fish. And it's exactly what I was after today. Targeting those slightly bigger canal perch, definitely among the specimen sort of size fish. Doing a little method where you just drop the bait into the weed and just wriggle it around in there, and the perch love digging the bait out of the weed, especially these bigger ones. And that's why it picks out a bigger stamper fish. I have just lost one by hand lining it in the water, and it ended up coming off as I was landing it, so I'm really chuffed to get this one. Beautiful fish. It's getting well rested and we'll get him back. That is awesome. Just spotted some good sized perch. I was just moving areas completely. Out of nowhere I've seen a shoal of big perch. All moving in the same direction, but I don't think they're in feeding mode, and I think they're going to be very tricky to try and tempt. Because they're all just swimming in a straight line, not veering off course. So obviously something must have spooked him. Oh, I'm looking at it. We got one, we got one, we got one. It's a good size fish. That is a good size fish. And I have actually lost my net. And I know you guys are gonna laugh and make fun of me because that's all I ever seem to do is lose my nets, but I've done it again. I left it in my previous swim. And it is a beautiful, beautiful perch. Unfortunately, I can't stack them up in the net if I get more than one. Don't lose this one, Chris. Don't lose this one, Chris. We did not lose this one. Definitely a bigger fish to the one that fell off earlier. There's a bait just in its mouth. Unfortunately, I can't rest it in the net properly, but I have got the main camera set up on the tripod, so I should be able to get a quick look at this fish. But it's beautiful. We'll just measure it first. Well, thank the Lord that I already had the camera set up in my bag ready to go, because there we have it, a beautiful, beautiful canal perch, and that is one of the big fish that I was after today. A nice canal specimen. Now, I'm sure lots of people have probably caught bigger fish in this from a canal, but this is definitely one of the bigger size stamper fish you can catch. He nailed the bait, absolutely crushed it on the bottom, and there's a few fish down there. Unfortunately, I can't rest this one in the net to try and get a few. I don't even know whether the other fish are still there or not. Either way, we'll just unhook this one and we'll let him go. Well, that was a shame just as things started to get good and heat up and the big fish started to feed. We had a boat go through, which, sure, in about half an hour's time, I'm sure it'll clear up a little bit and it'll be perfectly fine to fish and the fish will have settled down again. But I think that's about time to call it quits. So I had some fantastic fish. I've also lost my net as well, so I might as well pack it in now, haven't I? Well, I've lost my net. But I've had some fantastic fish today. Ended up on a couple of really nice fish. As soon as I decided to target those bigger fish and stalk them out with the polarized glasses and just twitch that bait in the weed and gently move it, that's how I managed to pick up those bigger fish towards the end. And that last fish really did cap it off well, about 1.5 pounds. Fantastic fish. So all the stuff that I've used today, I'm going to link in the description below, all the baits that I've used and tackle that I've used today. I hope that you enjoyed the underwater footage. I think it was quite cool to see just how these perch eat the bait and how daft they look too, especially the one that got beamed up into space. It was pretty funny just how fast. You think you're not really striking very hard and then you look at them under the water and they just fly out the swim as soon as you set the hook. So that was pretty cool to see. So if you like this sort of fishing and like this sort of content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like button on this video if you liked it too. And I'll catch you guys later.